Hi, and welcome to Coffee with Dogs. I'm Susan Allen Medium. I'm an evidential psychic medium and animal communicator. This podcast is a place to share insights into the spirit world and soulful stories of animals and what they can teach us about a life aligned with love. So grab your mug and let's dive into some magic together. Hi, everyone. It's Susan Allen Medium. Hi, Steph.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Pretty good. You've been traveling the world, should we say?
I like to say 4 countries, 9 planes in 29 days.
You're kidding.
It was amazing.
I'm sure it was amazing. Did you rack up some animal experiences for the podcast
I
there?
wish I didn't see a
Ah,
lot of animals. I really did not. Even in Italy, Italy was so packed in Florence. It was like Disneyland. I heard more
wow.
Americans speak than I did Floretians. In London, it was crazy because I met a client like by accident. And I said to the spirit world, my husband's not back from work yet. Should I go to the bar and have dinner in the hotel? Because the restaurant was closed. And I got a solid yes. So I go down and I stand in front of the platform for them to come seat me because it's like a bar, loungy kind of thing in the hotel. This woman walks past me and I've read for her on Instagram and it was amazing. It was amazing. Fabulous lady. And she walks past me and I said, Nikki, is that you? It was the cutest thing. And we sat on a bench outside the bar and probably talked for an hour and a half.
Wow.
I know. It was really meant to be. I'm probably going to be on her podcast, and we'll have to announce that when I'm on that.
Yeah, that's fun.
It was great, but I did miss my dogs at home.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I was sending them so much light and love, and I was talking to them while I was traveling, saying, "Stay close to the dog sitter, don't leave her side." I was doing all that, and I came home and they were in great shape.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I really miss them. It's hard leaving them, your babies.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard. And that's why I'm catless right now, which I miss having a cat. They're so special. The
Yeah.
experiences I've had with my cat when I would start to meditate, he was like still like very kind of feral, which I know that you understand,
Yeah,
right?
I do.
He would sleep in the living room and never come in the bedroom. I've never had a cat not sleep on my head or my stomach. And he wouldn't. He would stay in the living room and I would say he's clearing the energy of my
Right?
house.
Standing guard.
But the one time he would jump on my lap was when I was really going high in meditation and I would be so out there. He would then jump on my lap. And that I felt like animals have taught me everything. And I knew when I was where I needed to be in my meditation practice. Because I would hit a spot and I would kind of be like out of my body. And that's when he would jump on my lap and purr.
Yeah,
It was amazing.
that is amazing. Mine used to lay on me when I was pregnant all the time. Like more
Oh,
than normal. They would always lay on me when I was pregnant. So funny.
oh.
They're like talking to the
The
baby.
energy,
Yep.
right? The energy was so clean and so pure and wonderful. Beautiful.
Well, we are grateful for that healing energy of animals, and that's what we're talking about today. But before we get started, we want to say we are also so thankful for the reviews.
Yes.
Please keep them coming when you review the podcast on the show's page on Apple or Spotify, or if you listen on another podcast platform. Every platform allows you to review the podcast. It heightens the visibility for others to find us, which is really important, especially for a new podcast like this one. So thanks for reviewing, sharing the episodes with your friends and family, and commenting on our podcast content on Susan's social channels. All those things are helping us out. So keep them coming.
Great. Thank you.
Today, we're talking about the nature of being grateful in regard to the souls of animals and how they impact our lives and expand our collective growth. A good Thanksgiving episode.
I love that.
So, we've talked about the human pet bond a lot before. It's kind of what we talk about every time. But how would you describe, Susan, what caring for and living with a pet does for the soul of a human and how we sort of benefit one another?
Well, besides what I know about it, from a healer perspective and an animal communicator perspective, it is like the highest form of love
Mm,
because you're caring for a being that, you don't have a conversation with, but it's a deeper affection than almost a person, which is why I think people grieve so heavily when they
right.
lose an animal. At least a lot of my clients do. And I feel like, there's all these studies that are coming out now that are amazing about the pet bonds and how our biochemistry completely is like that of caring for a baby when we care for a pet. Our biochemistry, the hormones that we secrete, the hormones the animal secretes, they're healers. I've said this from day one. They come in for specific times in our life to help us get through certain things, and the bond is great.
The healing, can it be physical as well as emotional?
Absolutely.
Have you seen both?
I have. What I would do if I was asking my animal to join forces with me and helping me love myself into a healing modality for people that are trying to heal, whether emotional, physical, or, a psychological issue. I always say to my pets or my clients, don't let your pet take on what you have. You want to talk to your pet and say, join in forces to help me, but don't take this on. We don't want you to take this on. We want you to transmute it. They know on some level, like when I was very young, my mother had breast cancer and we had a schnauzer and the dog was sick, but she lived 1 year past my mother, and my dog ended up with breast cancer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because we didn't know what we know now. I was
Yeah.
26, this is decades ago. And we didn't know what we know now about pets trying to heal us and take on what we have. And I knew years and years ago, don't grab your dog when you're having a bad emotional attack,
Mm.
or don't grab your cat because you transfer, heavy emotion to them. It has to be conscious thought. You have
Mm.
to consciously engage them.
You know what that makes me think of are those service animals you see, and a lot of them are for emotional support. Are they taking it
Exactly.
on or are they?
And they take
Yeah.
on so much. I can remember it was probably 30 years ago, 25 years ago. I was standing at, and my New Yorkers would know this, 59th and Lex train station, and they were doing all this work. And there was the services for the blind that were within blocks of this train station. So two ladies with service dogs came down. I don't know if the dogs were not 100% trained yet. I mean, my knowledge back then was way different than my knowledge now. And the women were very nervous, and their dogs were pulling them into an area of construction.
Oh,
And I yelled for my husband at the time, would you please help them? Their dog, I was just like, I was so empathic, not realizing my abilities.
yeah.
I couldn't believe what was happening. But I knew I could feel the energy of these two women that were blind, how nervous they were in the subway. And I felt like their dogs, even though they were service dogs, they could have been young. And I felt like the dogs were taking on their nervousness.
Mm-hmm. They do say that even about when you walk a dog, I only know because of training. And my dogs are super reactive, is the nice word that we say, on walks, especially leash reactive. And when they see another dog, they'll actually go at each other to try
Hmm.
to control the other one from wanting to attack it's a lot. But the calmer I am, because I used
It's
to
a
get
lot.
with our last dog, I used to get so nervous walking him because he was such a jerk on walks. And I've noticed now, especially with Sadie, if I just am relaxed about it, many times she won't even react.
Yes,
She's also getting older, but yeah, I think our energy plays into their energy. And probably as we learn each other and live for each other longer, it happens even more easily.
100%.
When they pass to the other side, you've mentioned this before. Are they still helping our soul's evolution?
Yes, 100%. I think I spoke about this yesterday at my pet. Well, it wasn't a pet event, but it was an interesting thing that
Ooh,
happened. I'll tell you about it. If it was very out there. Anyway, I did an event yesterday and I talked about this that you can request for the dog to come back.
right. And so many people want that.
I didn't make demands on Rosie to come back because I felt like she's so strong in the spirit world for me
Right.
and she helps me connect. So does my cat Devo, my black cat with the green eyes. They help me connect. So I haven't demanded or requested that they come back. I think they become like angels and guides and helpers, and they do come back when we need them, which I talked about on a previous episode, being very sick and me getting up in the middle of the night and I look down and Rosie is sleeping
Hmm.
and she was a spirit dog at that point. So I think they do come back to watch over us. I know they do, but I really think their energy is so important in heaven. But if you're missing them and you feel your soul contract hasn't been long enough, like my client in Japan, whose dog passed at 7 months old, it was hit by a car and she was bereft and begged that dog to come back, and we somehow got that dog back. Spirit gave me the signs and symbols to tell her. So I believe that it's your need and your want for that dog to come back.
But if it doesn't come back,
It's a spirit guide for sure.
yeah. And that's what I think people forget. I mean, they're just as powerful
Yes.
up there.
Yes. Because love is what helps us connect with the spirit world. Love doesn't die. It's such a strong and powerful connection. That's why a heart full of love is very gently guided from spirit. You can't go wrong if you send light and love on everything. You just can't go wrong there.
Have you seen, or can you recall a time when an animal helped its owner see themselves more clearly or understand something significant about their life path? Like it came through the bond with the animal that they realized it?
Oh, 100%. Well, for me, it happened for me. I don't know if we talked about it, but here I am doing all these pet readings, and I could feel my body change like it's an energetic switch
Hmm.
when I'm talking to the spirit world. Rosie was in the garden, and I would, talk to Rosie, but I never felt a change physically in my body
Okay.
with her. I just had deep love for her. Like she was my soul dog and my baby and my whole world. So she's in where she goes in the garden, which was like the dirt, because the dirt held the heat and it was sunny. And I just felt the shift in me. And I looked at her and she looked at me and I heard her say in her sarcastic kind of voice, I'm not going to be around forever. You better start loving yourself.
Wow.
And I wasn't even aware that I wasn't loving myself. And within a year, she got very, very ill. And I thought, how interesting, And it really hit me because of that shift in my energetic field where I would have that with everybody else. And I went, yeah, something to think about. And most of us, unless you're a complete narcissist,
Mhm.
we are always looking to be more compassionate with ourselves and more loving and kind to ourselves. And if we can't give 1,000%, like go, hey, I did the best I could, you know?
How do we make sure that they know that we're so grateful for their loyalty, their love? Like our animals are just giving us everything all the time. It's just who they are, like those pure soul beings. How can we make sure that we're expressing like that we're grateful for that?
I think everything, I think just taking care of an animal, feeding, walking, hugging, loving, all of that, thinking they're adorable. They know everything. Like, if you even, like, just in the simplest of terms, a lot of people will relate to this, but when you think of a walk, they're already at the door
Yeah.
because telepathically they're so connected to you. That's not even a heart thing. That's, I got to bring my dog for a walk and they're at the door. When you are, I know when I am, when I'm coming home and I'm like a mile and a half away, my husband will say, they sat at the door. They knew you were close. They know. They can feel energetically your vibration. And I'm telling you, this really works when you're traveling. Just sit quietly and energetically, surround them with love and light, and then surround your home with love and light. It really works. It's the best thing.
What have you seen in readings about animals, especially if the animal has been like saved, adopted from like a rescue situation, taken off the street? You know where I'm going because my rescue mind, but how they show that they're grateful for their humans who saved them.
Well, before I got the two rescues that I have now, I bought Rosie because I didn't know any better. It
Yeah,
was like way back when, before, Oprah exposed puppy mills and buying pets and all that. I was just like, didn't know.
sure.
But these two that I have now are so wonderful and so good together. And they express to us because they like, especially dogs. I'm going to go with dogs, not cats. They love a good routine
Mm,
and they can count on the routine. They can count on, eating between 7 and 11 breakfasts and eating dinner between 5 and 7. And they can count on at least one walk a day for me, or they can count on a ton of outings in the front yard. So they can count on, and they have boundaries, just like children, like because they feel loved and they feel safe. It's the same with pets.
yeah, stability,
Boundaries, perimeters, routines. They can count on you.
right. And think of how unstable their environment is if they're
Oh,
astray on the street, even at
yep,
a shelter. Shelters are
yep,
chaotic. They're doing the best they can, but they're chaotic.
yep, yep.
You know, you talk about kids, and that was one of my questions.
Uh-huh.
How does caring for an animal impact children?
I love, like, when I see pictures of your son with the cat,
Yeah.
and I saw another picture. This nurse at my doctor's office said, look at this cat, Lorenzo, with my son. And I think her son was probably your son's age,
Uh-huh.
her son. And it's like, I feel like I'm looking at the same kid when I feel the energy from her son. And I look at your son, like the photo of him with the cat and how good the cat is with
Yeah.
him. Just amazing.
Yeah.
And they learn, cats are really good teachers.
Yeah.
I mean, dogs are too, but cats will let you know. Like, I don't want you to come at me like that. They have energy similar to a horse. You have to be very calm in the presence of a horse. I think I was the calmest when I was around a horse.
Hmm.
And I think that presence of being so calm helped me energetically. That's why horses are healers, because you can't mess around with a horse. They could feel a mosquito on their
Yep.
butt.
Yeah. And more than any other animal I've been around, I would say you have to be super cognizant of your emotional attunability with them. Like if you are nervous walking them out, they are suddenly nervous that they're going to step on something. What's that? What's that? And then they being nervous and being huge is suddenly a huge liability. So it's
A
interesting.
hundred
You really
percent.
have to be,
Hundred
have to be.
percent.
That's why people
Yep.
love working with horses because it makes you so calm.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons I loved working with them too.
Before we end this one about gratitude, do any readings or stories of friends or pets come to mind in regard to that topic of gratitude that you can share?
Well, I did an event yesterday and it was just a gallery of eight. And I went to this woman and I just randomly said, "Who's Joe?" And she's like looking in the clouds, like, "Who's Joe? Who's Joe?" And then I heard clearly JoJo.
Oh,
And she burst into tears and she go, "I wrote down the name. I wanted to hear from her." And I said, because I sense animals like I would a person, which a lot of mediums are like, "How are you doing that? Like, isn't it the dead person bringing in the animal?" No, I'm talking to the soul of the pet.
right.
That is my process. I talk directly to the soul of the pet, just like I talk to the soul of a human, you know? And I just saw the dog around her. I realized it was a dog. And she said, "Well, her name is Josie, but we called her Jojo." And I wrote down Jojo and I wanted to hear from her. It's my neighbor's dog that she put her to sleep yesterday. And
Oh,
she was really young. So the dog got sick, and I brought in messages for the woman at my event because she said that dog. I said, "You babysat that dog." She goes, "Well, in a way, but that dog, I would give the dog treats every single day." She'd come over to me and I said, "Yeah." And she's showing me very gentle. Oh, very gentle. So it was so much love coming through for the neighbor that wanted to talk to her and express her love for this neighbor and how hard this would be. And she said, "It's so interesting because this woman was traveling, the owner of JoJo, for Thanksgiving. And I wanted to take care of her, but she said, no, medically, it would be too much for you. I have to board her. And I found a boarding facility that will give her meds." The dog ended up passing before Thanksgiving, obviously.
yeah.
But there was so much love coming in for this neighbor, healing the neighbor when the dog wasn't even the neighbor's dog.
Yeah.
Because the neighbor had this woman that I read for, had so much loving energy for this dog. I mean, she burst into tears when the dog showed up. It was a great event. And I was thinking, I always think sometimes before an event, am I supposed to work today? Can you give me a sign and a symbol? And I walk past my office and one of those salt lamps that I couldn't get to work,
Uh-huh.
another medium gave it to me for a Christmas present. And I put new bulbs in it. I tried different outlets. It was just dead, but I left it on my desk. I thought, I'll leave it on my desk. Do you know that that light came on right before my event yesterday? Out of the blue. And it gave me the energy that I needed. Like before an event, who knows what I feel. Sometimes I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. I'm so tired."
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden I start the readings and it's like electric going through me. I have this energy that's like superpower energy. And it's also in person. It's pretty spectacular. The energy exchange, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It just depends. Like if a lot of people bring a lot of energy to me, I'm helping them.
Yeah.
And I think yesterday it was like all my regulars. There was not one new person to me.
Okay.
So they know how I read, they know how I am, and it was like a love fest.
Yeah. That's
So that
nice.
helps,
Yeah.
really helps.
Well, if people want to come to a gallery of eight or get a reading, let's go ahead and talk about where to find you.
SusanAllenMedium.com. It's all on the website, how to get in touch. And my events are on there too. We're supposed to be doing a holiday event for December. I don't know the date. It's under events.
Okay.
Yeah, and that'll be the last one for the year. And then in January, I do a gallery of eight people. It's less money than a private. If you want to dip your toe in that way with me, but I won't be doing another one till probably the end of January.
So that December event you're talking about is December 21st from 4 to 5:30, a holiday evening with Spirit and Susan Allen Medium. That's up on susanallenmedium.com. You can buy tickets. Do it before it sells out.
Yes.
Well, there we go. I'm grateful for you and for this podcast and for everybody who has found it and is listening and continues to tell us that they're listening. It's just been a lot of fun.
It always is with you. Thank you so much, Stephanie.
We will see you next time.
Yes. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Coffee with Dogs. I'm your host, Susan Allen Medium. I would love for you to rate and review the podcast wherever you listen. This helps everyone find me. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. From my soul to yours and from our animals to us all until we meet again.